This is the farm tour for August 2021. I think what is it, the first, the fourth, or the fifth?
Fourth.
Fourth. So we're just going to go over all the areas of our farm, show you some animals, and update you on the projects we've been doing. And I'm standing here in front of the most recent addition, which is our sauna. This is a traditional Finnish sauna. It's called the Ruby Tuesday. More about that later. And we built this 2 years ago. Coming inside the sauna, it's got a little sink in the corner. It's got workspaces. That's Ruby's desk. Right now it's got some beekeeping supplies. And you can just go on in and see the actual sauna room. It's wood fired. It's got room for about 8 people. And we've had as many as, how many have we had in here at sauna parties?
Six or seven.
So we had a sauna party a few weeks ago, and it's got a nice view out into the arboretum. Just from this window here, you see some really beautiful trees and some pretty rare trees too, which we'll talk about as we get into the arboretum. And yeah, that's the sauna room. It's got a loft bed, so you can have a sauna and then tumble into the bed. And we'll now walk you. This is our kind of like our area where we relax, we sit. This is where we juggle, play ping pong. Why don't you do a little walk around the sauna so they can see how it's got a little whatchamacallit, outdoor shower. Watch the nettles behind you. Hello. That's our pride and joy. That's a traditional Finnish sauna. And we'll walk you down now through here you see the cottage built in 1758. Everything's a bit overgrown and also a bit brown because we've had a blast of heat. Hottest summer ever in Ireland. This is the tumble down. We're going to be walking up through that later. And these are the pigs. And that pig right there is called Tuesday. And she runs this whole operation. See if you can get a close-up there of her. She's enjoying lunch. Eats the same thing 3 times a day. She's chomping away. Okay, we're going to take a walk. This is our fire pit where we enjoy campfires in season. And that's where we do a lot of plantings over there, but we'll get to that later. This takes you through the arboretum. Avoid the plastic on the left. This is the one poisonous tree at the farm. Actually, this one. It's a spindle tree. I think it's called Oeonimus europea. It's the plant they used to make the spindle out of for sewing, for weaving, and something like that. This is a plant that Ruby planted as a tiny little stick, maybe 2 feet tall. It's a sweet chestnut, and now it's rapidly overtaking all the other trees. It's about 24 feet, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
It's taller now than the Norway maple here, which is hanging in there even though some critters stripped a lot of the bark off. Down there you have more trees, and that takes you to the native woodland. And now we'll go through, we had a hammock here until 2 days ago. That's the savannah. We call that the savannah. I just started calling it the savannah about a second ago. But it looks like one. And you come through here. We grow a lot of bamboo at the farm. We have about 8 big stands of bamboo. This is a tree from Northern California, giant sequoia, redwood, and you see it lives up to its name, doesn't it? Here's some more bamboo and willow. Along here is mainly willow, and then these great stands of bamboo that we use in our gardening a lot. In the back there is a really giant one, but, well, these are really nice bamboo for building with. There's a lot of willow here. And here you're coming to the area that we've developed this year for growing vegetables and also bees. So we have 2 bee colonies here. This is the one colony, which is not terribly active, but you can just show them there are some bees coming and going. Watch the nettles. And then over here is another bee colony. Let me get up close to these bees and then you can... Why don't you go in the middle there and you can explain what's growing in that bed. There are the bees. Okay, I'll go in the middle of the bed and explain what's growing in there. So this bed is something we came up with this year just because it gets the, watch the nettles behind you, it gets the late summer sun. Sun goes down right over there. And here we have some outdoor tomatoes, which you don't usually grow in Ireland outdoors. We've got all of our zucchini and crooked squash. We've got a row of beans here. We've got a row of spinach. Sorry, peas. And then in here, I don't know if you can see, is a lot of chard and there's sunflowers there and some other flowers that are still coming up. So we're going to have some really nice dwarf peas right there. We'll show you where the chickens are now. This area is undeveloped. Here you have the chicken. See if there are any eggs. Well, she's obviously sitting on eggs, but we won't bother her right now. But, so that's where the chickens live and have lived for 10 years. Through here is the orchard, which is totally overgrown, and we'll show you that another time, but suffice it to say that our beautiful orchard has been taken over by raspberries and nettles, and it's really not worth writing home about. Okay, we'll keep going. Down here you have more trees. I mean, you've got a lot of birch along here, you've got alder, you've got Japanese cedar, Chinese redbark birch, Himalayan birch, big stand of bamboo here, which is a nice place to keep the lawnmowers because they don't usually get too wet there. This is a pretty rare tree in Ireland. That's an Acer griseum, which has this beautiful bark. It's doing just fine. But one of the best trees at the property is this Korean fir. that was about maybe 5 feet tall when we got here in 2009. And now you can see it's about 25 feet tall. Just beside the sauna there. Here's the front yard of the property. We've had animals back there. We had a donkey there. We now have straw bales there in our trailer. I'll take you around to the backyard. That's our canoe. You can see quickly inside the cottage. You can show them the living room. We have quite a few instruments here. We've got a double bass, 2 pianos, violins, trombone, cello, lots of guitars. There's a sleeping loft upstairs. That's the laundry room and bathroom. And in here's the kitchen. Ruby will take you into the kitchen. Excuse our mess. That's the country kitchen. Got a piano there. This is the same piano that Paul McCartney composed yesterday on. It's an Eve Staff Mini Grand dating from 1935. Oak. Now we'll visit one of the most wonderful things we have here. I could be talking about the swing, but I'm not. Talking about the hot tub. Which is in the backyard. We were just in that kitchen, you remember. You come around here. This is about 39 degrees Celsius right now, about 99 degrees. And there's the backyard. There's a trampoline there, and it goes down to the orchard. You see the big ash tree there. 3 big ashes around the cottage, including one right over the hot tub. This wall just collapsed. We got to fix that today. We call this the teardrop. Everybody loves the teardrop. We designed that in 2012 when we laid out a new system here, and we've got a lot of, obviously, nasturtiums growing there. We also have sunflowers, some apples, big stand of mint, artichokes, raspberries, lettuce, chard, kale, rhubarb, oriental greens, and last but not least, we have honesty, one of our favorite plants to grow here. Here are some perennial sunflowers, some more tomatoes growing outdoors. You can see they're doing really well. This is the new tumble down garden. A couple of years ago we burned it out, repointed it. We put in giant stone here. This stone here weighs about 800 pounds. And we needed an excavator to move these around and create these beds. And now we have these beautiful beds with raspberries, blackberries, figs. We have chard, gooseberries, strawberries, currants. We have beans. We have a lettuce bed. We have chard. We have peas. And we have more outdoor tomatoes. Does it seem like a lot? Mm-hmm. That is called the Tumble Down Walled Garden. Go ahead and have a look around there. I forgot to mention what we're growing here. Corn. We have 20 corn plants right there. Over here is our asparagus bed. The season's coming to an end, but you see there's actually one really big asparagus coming up there. And we've just thrown a few sunflowers and some climbing roses in. There you see through to the tumble down garden bed. Down here is winter squash, and beyond that is chard, lettuce, other kinds of greens. And we had to redig. This is our new redug septic field. That's a little cabin where we live some of the time. I'm looking at a big mess of last year's chard that's gone to seed. And we'll save all those seeds. Beyond that, some sprouting broccoli that's gone to seed, some lovage that's going to seed, a cherry tree, a plum tree. This is our greenhouse. You can have a look in our greenhouse where we grow tomatoes, cucumbers. Have a look at the size of the cucumbers growing in there. The tomatoes. Look at this one. That's going to be over a kilo. A lot of tomatoes. Ruby picks them every day. We make salsas and tomato salads. And we spend about an hour in here every day tying up and cutting back. The greenhouse has been here for almost 10 years. This is the tunnel. The tunnel has apricots, peaches. It has grapes, and it has plants that we start. So here you see a lot of plants started, basil and 4 stone fruit trees, grapes everywhere, celery growing, chard growing. Here's a tomato plant I forgot to put somewhere else. Lots of artichokes for next year, strawberries, and lots of grapes. You see here, the grapes, we have lots of bunches of grapes, and they're actually getting ripe. So you can come in here and you can pick some of these juicy black grapes. A German grape called Dornfelder. Dornfelder is known for, you add it to red wine mixes to give the wine deeper flavor. They're getting black slowly. This is there's some more strawberries here still, even though it's August. See there? There's the back of the cabin. This trail leads you to the native woodland. There's Peter's Field. Beyond Peter's Field is another property and farm that we just bought. Couldn't help ourselves. More buildings, more everything. That's a wormery. We need to add some food to that. We gave away a bunch of worms recently. And actually a lot of worms are in this compost. This is the native woodland, but it was dug up to create the septic drain field. Goes on there, and eventually you come out. There's a little river, and you see the savanna. This is the back end of the tunnel. And we'll take you back up to the top of the property. remind you where you are. There's the tunnel, the greenhouse, the cabin, Peter's field. There's our garden. The tumble down walled garden. The cottage. Teardrop. The front yard. The sauna. The hot tub. This is our lane. It's called Paradise Lane. It leads you down to our other farm. And we'll show you the other farm in a separate tour. This is Tullyquilly Artichoke Farm, and we hope you enjoyed this tour on this beautiful day, the 4th day of August 2021.